All right, Coach, it's so great to see you again. Man, how's the offseason been so far?
It's been good, man. It's been busy, and that's exactly what you'd want. About 10 to 12 new players.
Yeah.
Guys that haven't been with us before, and maybe another 10 to 15 that we were able to bring back. And so that's a big deal, man, to add this many guys back to our crew. And I think it showed how much they love playing football together.
Yeah.
Like that many guys, man, like this is my spot, these are my guys. And so like the ability to bring a lot of guys back here, that was a big deal.
Yeah, and I think being busy, or it's probably doing an understatement, right? You guys doing big trades, big name guys coming in. Like I just look at like the addition of Laramie Tunsil, the addition of Deebo Samuel, and what that does for this team, specifically the offense. Like I just feel like it raises the ceiling significantly.
Yeah, and Adam and his staff, they've been on it, man. And so it's not something that comes up in one day and that sounds like a good gig.
Let's get that done real quick.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of work that goes into that. And the fact that when the season ended, we started that process with a number of the players that were going to hopefully be back. And so that was a big deal. You want to see who's developing, who can we bring back. You don't get to keep everybody, no team stays the same. But the fact that we were able to bring guys back and add, new pieces to this group, man, like that's a really cool feeling.
I guess like that's the other thing is like how do you decide like who to bring back and where to add? Like that seems like a really complicated thing because I'm sure you build these great relationships with players, so you kind of want everybody back. But
you do, yes.
You also want the best version of the team, right?
Yeah, and that is part of it to say, how can we also feature guys in their very best ways? And so for the guys that had opportunities elsewhere, that got a chance to, do some things, like we'll always be pumped for them. Like they absolutely, busted their ass for this team and this organization. So like we hold them in the highest regard. At the same time, for the guys that are coming in, especially the first time here, how do we onboard them quick and get them really up to speed on the standards and the things that make a commander so unique? And I'm excited to see our current group pull these other, 10 or 12 guys onto the team.
Yeah, and it's funny because like I think like your superpower, like having played for you, is that like you do a great job building culture and building relationships, right? But Adam Peters, his superpower is like finding and identifying talent. So how do you guys gel that and make sure you're getting guys that you can build those relationships with while also kind of helping adopt his vision of what the team's going to look like?
Yeah, it was such a great example last year, Logan, of the importance of like how strong a locker room can be. And last year, the team, I said the best part of our team was the team. It was like the strength, the roles, and like when you're chasing some dreams together, like there's value for everybody, man. Whatever their role is on the team, like can they do that at the highest level? And I felt like our locker room did that. And so you want to be able to chase things, and sharing that journey together. So those relationships are important. But at the end of it, man, it is putting all these puzzle pieces together. Like the border's set, that's good. You have these pieces that have to be in the right spots. And number one, like, hey, can you get everybody here first? And then we'll organize how to feature the guys in the best spots. But to get everybody here, that's a big assignment, man, for Adam and his staff. There's evaluation piece, financial piece, the medical piece to it. All of that has to fit. And when it does, there's some really cool things that can happen.
And I'm sure it's helpful that you guys seem to get along so well and kind of seem to have like an aligned vision. Like when you got hired, like that was one thing you guys talked about a ton. Like I'm sure that's extremely helpful in this process.
Yeah, it's so nice because you get to talk about the team so often together.
Right.
And so we spend so much of our time doing that, whether we're talking about the end of the season evaluations and how we're going to take the next step with all of these people to improve. Might be the next part of free agency, and when the players are coming here and having a real explanation of how they'll play, how we feature them, and then now we're on to the draft piece. Whether we're out on a trip together or going through draft meetings together. It's just my vision is to always be able to let him know is, hey, this is what we would see the vision for the player on the team, because for him that's his expertise. Where is he going to be picked? Where's the other parts? How many different players at that position? Where do they fall? That to me is like the most fascinating part of the draft, of knowing the art of when to select somebody. As a coach, you'd want so many players. I'll take them here, take them all early. And there's a real art and a skill to that, to have that much knowledge of the entire draft, to know who would go where. It takes experience to do that, and he certainly has it.
I didn't even think about that, but I'm sure like that is a skill like anything else. And so are you just saying, hey man, like at edge rusher, for example, we want somebody who can run like a sub this 10
Yep.
kind of get off, and
Yep.
then we look for this kind of pass rush trait, and then he says, okay, I'll go find you what you're looking for. Is that kind of like, I don't know how that would work.
Yeah, I would say it probably goes the other way first of the
Oh,
film
I see.
evaluation
I see.
to say these are the traits and the production you see on the film. And
I
then it
see.
also adds some, does he have length? And then because the play happens before the measurables. So then you see the film and how it's coming to life, and then the measurables happen, as opposed to like an analyst right now can watch something from the combine, get the measurables, and then do an evaluation.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
scouts do it vice versa.
Yeah.
They'll have watched a player for 2 or 3 years.
Which is crazy.
You know, like you're scouting in the West Coast, you had that school, you've known those players. You've known, you saw him as a freshman, as a sophomore, into his junior year, you've seen him grow and develop. So the best of the area scouts, man, they really know that team, those players, not just from one season, but you know, over the last 3, 4, in some cases 5 years.
Man, I didn't even think about that, because like that's like got to be such an important part of the evaluation process. And I love your analogy there, like with the puzzle.
Yes.
Right, because you got 5, 6, 7 more pieces coming in here in the draft, right?
Yep.
How is it? You know, you were picking at 2 last year, and it kind of was pretty obvious you were going to select a quarterback, and obviously picked a good one. At 29, how does that process change for you, kind of filling out that puzzle piece?
Yeah, the whole thing has changed for sure. It's a nice feeling to know you could go into and go play a game right now.
Yeah, it's got to feel great, right?
Yes, and that's you know, that's the goal of every team. So then you can supplement and keep adding to the team with your draft. But if you can go play a game, like we could go get down right now today.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of March, we've got a good roster, and then you add to that, then you really are hitting it. And so for us, musts, you know, what we need, what we want, how do we fill that in? There's free agents, you know, from an undrafted standpoint as well. So it's an awesome time, man, to be going through these meetings and getting ourselves prepared for the draft.
So how are you looking? I mean, because the roster is set. I mean, you could go into a game right now. You got some really good football players in free agency. So are we just looking for kind of specific things, or is it more general? We want good football players. I know you always want good football
Yes,
players.
you do, but it is specific
Yeah.
to say as you're going through, you know, you don't know how exactly it's going to fall
Sure.
when your pick is there. So let's say, for instance, whatever you were picking, you know, when you're a few picks away, these are the 3 or
Right.
4 players that could be there. And so you don't just wait to the end like, oh, our guy's gone, you know, who else is there? So there's a number of players, you know, that would be into that space. They might all be the same position, and I would say rarely they are.
Yeah.
This tight end, this running back, this defensive tackle, this corner, you have them ranked, but the way they come off the board will determine how you select one of the players. But it's a fascinating process, man, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of skill for Adam and his staff to lay it all out, not just stack one position from top to bottom. Okay, here's the best running backs as we see fit, but also how do you mix that running back with a linebacker?
Yeah.
You know, based on their grades and who fits. And so it really is a lengthy process. But the nice part, man, you just keep stacking, you keep hitting, and if you keep adding, like you said, good players to your group, it usually works out in your favor.
Coach, man, I can't wait to watch. I can't wait to watch the puzzle come together, man. I'm gonna use that analogy
Yes,
for the rest of the
it's,
offseason. I can't wait to watch it come together. It's been great talking to you, man.
Awesome.